So before van life, I was depressed. Just seemed like I was paying out money hand over fist for quite a poor man's lifestyle. This is Chapvanistan. Welcome to my home.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and not be true, but it is, Lord, it is. We're living in a new world with no soul. Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're meeting up with Chappy, who's living full time in his van.
We hope you enjoy the video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you think. Back to it.
My name's Chappy, I'm one of the admins for VanLife Scotland. I'm 32-year-old and decided to chase VanLife, or VanLife decided to chase me. Started with a holiday and now this is my full-time home. Before VanLife, I was depressed in every sense of the word. Wasn't looking after myself, was going through a pretty crap time. Had the mortgage, had the full-time job, the career prospects and everything that goes along with kind of really average life, but I found it to be unbearably grey. And then I bought a van, took that on a trip to up to Skye, Harris, Lewis and back down, and couldn't face going back to that life after looking after myself and looking after a machine. Didn't want to go back to trying to maintain the home, maintain the lifestyle, maintain the 40, sometimes more hour work week, to still be like, oh, these bills are scaring me. So yeah, just looking for financial freedom as well as time freedom. I think time freedom's a big one, not having huge bills. So it allows me to go and do fun jobs and be in places where there's something going on rather than being tied by a huge responsibility to something else. Until fairly recently, I was still working the 9 to 5. I was still working in motor dealerships between repairing vehicles or working parts departments, that sort of thing. Now I've got a bit more freedom, so I've got a few hours over at the climbing arena, which is great because that keeps me fit, gives me access to a shower that I don't need to stand at the back of the van and get wet. I've worked over 2 seasons up in Pitlochry that was working as a quad bike instructor. If I couldn't take my home on my back, I couldn't just decide that I'm going to move to Pitlochry for a year or I'm going to move to Skye for 4 months. Yeah, it just allows a lot more freedom. Freedom for work. I don't need to look at how much I'm going to be getting paid. I don't need to be looking at that bottom line on the paycheck every month. This is a 2009 Peugeot Boxer. I did buy it kitted out. I was actually at my work on a Saturday morning. I was supposed to be working the half day and I saw it come up for sale and I just abandoned my position within the garage and was like, no, I'm out. This is Chapvanistan, and Chapvanistan isn't as much a name as it is a mindset. It is my own free little part of the planet where it is my rules and there's not a man in a tie condescendingly telling me what to do. It's a medium wheelbase. It felt absolutely vast coming from a Mazda Bongo. I can't quite stand up in it unless I'm under the skylight. Not a problem for me. Wasn't able to stand up in the last van anyway. Up top there is a solar panel. I'm sure it was 200 watt solar. I don't really use much aside from charging my laptop, which I use a super cheap ancient inverter for. It does have DC charging, so the leisure batteries charge as I'm going along the road. Got the skylight up there as well, which is handy, especially in the summer when it gets hot as hell in there.
So on the exterior, have you got a light there?
Yay! And it's even got a little dimmer switch. I love the little dimmer switch. It's super bright at night and it's handy if you do ever get the dreaded knock to be able to illuminate the person and see what you're coming out to. In the summer I use this quite a lot, but it's more if we're sitting outside the van having a drink or something. This cooker can just be lifted from here and sits down here so I can cook outside if the weather's really nice. There's never anything better than sitting on the step of your van and just having an epic view, beautiful morning, cup of tea, and a cup of tea and a smoke. I love a cup of tea and a smoke. So I carry aqua rolls, so the usual kind of caravan that allows me 70 litres overall to take wherever I'm going. And if you're sensible with that, it can last you weeks if you're managing to shower elsewhere. If you're showering, you will go through, I can go through one of these aqua rolls easily, just washing my hair. Jolco hot tap, really handy. It comes with a series of hoses and a shower head, magnetic shower head. The access to the back of the toilet there as well, just behind the basket of tools and camping stuff. That pulls out through the back. What I like about that is that I'm not having to take any of the human mess through my living space where I eat and sleep. Obviously this is just hardwood that's been covered with some of the carpet, solar controller and stuff there, so it's all really easy to get to. On this side, notable things that would give it away as a stealth van, or give it away as a camper. Electric hookup, and if you're really having a look, there's the exhaust for the diesel heater that's inside. That's all incorporated and well hidden. But realistically, when this is parked up, if you didn't know what you were looking at, you'd think it was just a crew van or like a works van, handyman, that sort of thing, which suits me where I park. So. What do I do about an address? So I didn't want to be saying this, but I am 32-year-old and I am on paper living with my parents. From an egotistical stance, the way I was thinking before, I was like, I don't want to be this age and on paper living with my parents. I want to have stuff. I want to have had a house and stuff by this point. But now I find it kind of funny that by letting that way of thinking go, I'm actually in a better position. I'm sat here on a Monday morning and I don't have a manager breathing down my neck. So this lifestyle for me is a lot more financial freedom, because I think I was working it out at a couple of points when I was trying to go through budgets. Even when I was in a pretty good job and living in the house, I was having to limit myself to like 60 or 70 pound a week to do everything that I wanted to do, visit where I wanted to visit, and trying to budget for that little an amount was absolutely horrible. Also, I think it was a bit of a moral challenge, because things like the council tax and things that I was paying into and getting no real benefit from. Yeah, my bins were getting emptied, but everything else about the area that was coming from the council was just becoming worse and worse and worse. So it was feeling like I wasn't getting value for money in loads of aspects, whether it was the amount I was paying in taxes, the interest I was paying to the banks and stuff. And it just seemed like I was paying out money hand over fist for quite a poor man's lifestyle. It was like, I have to work, I have to take any extra work I can get. I need to get these bills paid, I need to sort out this debt. I was in a lucky position where I had my flat, my mortgage, I had some equity in that, so it meant that I was able to sell up and pay everything off and still have some money to buy myself a new home. So we'll jump in and get a little look at what's going on inside. Welcome to my home. I've got the full-size double bed. Storage up here, just storage all the way along, bits and bobs for the computer, my keyboard and things. From about halfway forward to here, so about a quarter of the bed, that's all storage under there. And underneath this side, that's to get into the toilet. Didn't know if I wanted the toilet, but now that I have one, I'm so glad that I do, because it saves any sort of worries about bush poos and things like that. Again, I've got more storage in here. Cooker, this thing's super handy. Safe fill gas bottle, LPG, refillable, and LPG is a lot cheaper than camping gas. It's handy having this out as well, because I can take it round the back to the shower that I showed you, and it's like a gas heated shower. Okay, so over here I have more storage. So that's teas, coffees. It does have a fair size sink in there as well. There are a couple of cups in there, but it's not an absolute riot. Oversized chopping board that's handy because it increases the workspace. A little altar, I guess, just for when I'm taking some time out to myself and trying to be more mindful and settled. Usual cutlery nonsense. Under here is more storage, and there's a diesel heater hidden in under here as well, and the water tank for the waste. This is a cool thing that I picked up at a festival in Falkirk, funny of all places. Aside from being a poofy stool and a little step at the moment, and a seat for when I would like it, it also is filled with clothes that I'm not wearing in this season, or stuff that I'm not using because it's winter or I'm not going out. I wrap them all in plastic, in a big plastic bag, and use them as the packing for it. So I'm in the cab. The cab is always a bit of a mess. Things get moved around, partly due to having the swivel seat bases. I like to have them turned around. It makes the van feel a lot bigger. Believe it or not, I've had a party of 9 of us in here, and 2 of us were guitarists. I love colour. I wanted it to be a calm place. I wanted it to be a place where I can come in where it's colourful and happy and homely. With being a bit of a hippie as well, sort of self-confessed, that has brought me a bit closer to trying to understand spirituality and starting to understand what my purpose here is and what I need to be doing and what makes me feel good. And I like my home to reflect that, so as it reminds me every day. If I wake up in a place that's colourful and is happy and has symbols to remind you to be mindful and to be really in control of yourself and your emotions and things, that helps me go about my day being the best person I can be for myself. So from the first thing in the morning with my cup of tea, I'm in this colourful space it smells like incense and Palo Santo, and I have my cup of tea in the warmth, and I can be grateful before I start my day. Not sure how you pronounce this company, but Sequa, I think it is, that make this base set, which is quite handy because it just locks in, and with a little tighten down, then with this piece that goes on any sort of table base, it just goes in the top. It's only for function, for somewhere to work or for to eat, really. But it is a handy thing. Obviously it helps with workspace for when you're cooking. I do enjoy cooking, so being able to have more preparation space and serving space is definitely good. So if you're wanting to be a bit more stealthy, I can put these blinds down. So these are just kind of cheapy IKEA numbers, but I've also got this one here. If I want to stealth, I can pull this down, and that works almost like a bulkhead to make it look like a normal van. So if it's somewhere in a residential street that I'm having to hide out for a night or whatever, then I would leave it looking like a van, still be inside with some lights on, but by the time that I put those blinds down and put this down, there's very little to show that there's anybody in it. I often wonder whether this lifestyle is for everybody. I don't think so. I think you need to be, I like to try and keep my stuff clean. This is just one example. I like to try and have a nice clean tidy house. As soon as you get into the house after being outside, or into your van after being outside, things are getting dirty right from the get-go. So I'm not saying I'm absolutely minging, but you need to expect you're living outdoors, you're going to have dirt and things coming in, it's a tiny little area. If there's more money in the van, you are going to be climbing over each other, you are going to have to be really hella close or it's not going to work. No, it's probably not for everybody. I reckon it does take a certain type of person. I think now a lot of people are looking to it, or looking into it, because it's more necessity. Nowadays housing is so expensive, the cost of living is so expensive. I do worry that there's going to be more people coming into this sort of lifestyle through necessity. And because of that, I worry about the future of this lifestyle, certainly in the UK. My favourite part of this life is the freedom. Like I was speaking about, being able to choose a job anywhere. It expands my horizons. Every day I meet somebody new, I have a new experience. My least favourite thing about it? Dealing with the toilet. I definitely would say to anybody, if you're travelling Scotland, whether that is living full-time van lifer, or if you're a full-time van lifer elsewhere that's coming up for a visit to Scotland, check out VanLife Scotland community on Facebook. You know, if you need help, if you're coming up here, you're looking for places to go, you want to pick up some experience from people who are either living it or have visited, maybe have a little more knowledge of some of the areas, jump on there, ask the question. 99% of what happens in there is like lovely, it's people helping each other out. Yeah, get involved with that. My Instagram, if you do want to have a look, it's at Chappy Van Dweller, Chappy for Chappy. You've been watching Liveration. I'm Chappy. Hey, thanks for watching. Like, stay safe. If this looks good to you, like, jump out here. If you see me somewhere, you see a VanLife Scotland sticker, stop, say hi.
We got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the homies milking welfare. If you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes are not to pay for your bags of first rounds. Got some young mothers spitting the ground. That's all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in there, and a big thanks to Chappy for sharing a story with us and showing us his van.
Make sure to check him out on the socials. All the links will be down below, as well as the VanLife Scotland Facebook page. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you're subscribed. In the next one, we've got a really cool kitted out Land Rover, so keep an eye out. See you in the next vid.
Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and not be true, but it is.